Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews. Very special beer review this time out. It's that time of year again. It's autumn is here, and the nights are closing in. The temperature's starting to creep down a little bit. The leaves are all turning brown, and it's time for Fuller's Vintage. It's back. Fuller's Vintage Ale 2024 is out. Always a very exciting beer release for me. Probably it's the one annual beer release that I cannot miss. The craft beer brewers do their annual releases, putty and things like that, for example, and I don't mind missing them. But this one I will not miss. Fuller's I've always loved. Got a lovely got a history with Fuller's. I love everything they do. Proper Chiswick Brewery in West London. I love them. The vintage is always a bit of class. Everything about Fuller's I'm a fan of, and the vintage every year is absolutely beautiful, and I'm expecting no different this year. And yeah, I'm going to be a nerd and I'm going to chuck it in a Fuller's glass. So here we go. Fuller's 2024, 8.4%. It's a biggie. There is the iconic Griffin logo. Vintage ale. These are £7.50 from the Fuller's website. I do know that Marks and Spencer's do sell them at some point. They don't come out for a little while once they've sold a few from the website or directly from the brewery, but M&S tend to get them, as do Waitrose. I think Waitrose do them and not Marks and Spencer's. I might have just lied to you. Waitrose will normally sell a few bottles of this as well. So it comes out every autumn. What does it say? It says bottle edition, limited edition. They do write limited edition, but you can still get them normally a few months down the line, to be fair. As with every vintage ale, this beer is brewed to mature over time. Bottle conditioned, a natural sediment will form, so store upright and pour carefully. Whilst we always put a best before date on this bottle, the flavours will continue to mature and develop for many years after that. Contains water, malted barley, invert sugar, yeast and hops. There you go. 8.4%. It's got a best before date of the 31st of December 2027. So I've got a few years on it. I've got some that I've been aging. I tend to buy 2 bottles at a time, and this year was no different. I buy a few bottles, 2 or 3 bottles at a time. I drink one pretty quickly, and I tend to age the others. I'd say I tend to. Some of them don't make it that far because they're so nice. I tend to kind of drink them again. I have been known to drink a Fuller's Vintage on Christmas Day. And that's not far away now, which is scary to think about. It has got, straight away from the pour, it's got that classic dark red Fuller's Vintage colour to it. There is something very special, at least in my opinion, about the look of a Fuller's Vintage. They do a beer called Golden Pride, which is one of their sort of core range beers, which is it's like an 8.5% sort of barley wine type beer, and it always has that type of colour. There is something about a strong ale from Fuller's in a Fuller's glass that just gets me going. Look at the colour of that. Isn't that beautiful? Lovely sort of mahogany dark brown with a beautiful ruby red bleeding through it. That's a thing of beauty. Absolute thing of beauty. Let's get me snouting, see what the aroma's telling us. Oh, loads. The aroma's telling me there's a big addition of crystal malt. It's got a lovely dark fruit. Dark with a bit of orange zest. It's normally down to the yeast strain that Fuller's use. Always got a kind of like a marmalade-y aroma and flavour to their beers. Let's get stuck in, shall we? Fuller's 2024, let's have it. Cheers. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a Fuller's Vintage for sure. That's glorious. That is glorious. So much going on. There's a beautiful Beautiful, subtly sweet, malty aroma, flavour. Totally envelops your palate. Slightly hoppy, dry finish to it that balances out that malt and dark fruit. Oh, wow. They never let you down. They never let you down, these beers. So I'm getting sort of black currant, subtle cherry, slightly woody. It's like an oaky flavour to it. Like I've just taken a swig of a good whiskey. It's boozy. You're getting that 8.4, and that's really kind of enhancing those sort of dark fruit, cherry, slightly woody notes. This is that finish. That finish, the more you sip it, the more the finish is becoming quite prominent. Yeah, I could feel it going to my head. I'm getting all the 8.4, but it's got to be one of the most beautiful ways to enjoy a strong beer, when it's as complex and malty and smooth and drinkable as this. You can sometimes have sort of double IPAs that are just hot monsters, juice bombs. But with the Fuller's Vintage, there's always a sort of a subtle, gentle, smooth way. It kind of gets you pissed. Should we just say that? It'll get you pissed. 8.4%. Yes, you can tell it's boozy, but it's not harsh. Everything about it is balanced. Everything about it is smooth, drinkable, approachable. It's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. They are masters. I know there's lots of breweries, regional breweries, that do sort of, you know, annual specials, big boozy beers, and the Fuller's Vintage is the one that I always go to, and I'm glad I do, because they're always absolutely superb. This is a treat. This is an absolute treat, and it is every year. Good body to it. It's quite thick. It really coats the palate. Very light carbonation. Doesn't need it. Malty. Sort of fruity, saurine, malt loaf, bready. Cherries, black currants. Woody. And it goes into this slightly sort of hoppy bitterness at the back end. And it feels like you've just done like a shot with a lump of ice in it of a good sort of single malt whiskey. That's how it feels at the end. It's like a really rich, fruity whiskey shot. Oh, it's really complex. I think this is, I'm trying to think back. I mean, it's hard, because obviously there's only one a year, right? It's hard to kind of put this against previous iterations of the vintage. But I feel like this one in particular, it feels like there's more going on with the finish to this one. It really lingers. It's really quite dark and boozy, but not in an overpowering way at all. It's still elegant. It's still smooth. It's still massively drinkable. It should be a sipper, but it ain't. It's a gulper. It's a drinker. It's very easy drinking. And again, that's the genius of this beer. That's the genius of Fuller's. Every year they still knock out a strong ale, but you just want to get it down you. Absolutely glorious. I'll be interested to see what this tastes like in a couple of years' time, if I can get it to last that long. I mean, I'm not sure how. I think I've got a 2017 that I've been aging, and I might crack that out at some point. But honestly, this is awesome already. This is beautiful, fresh. It's what it's going to be like in a couple of years' time. I don't know whether it'll be any better or not. I doubt. But that is absolutely glorious, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of that in peace. It's always a 10 out of 10 for what it's worth, as far as I'm concerned. Fuller's, the Vintage Ale, the 2024, absolutely glorious. Again, you get it in that box. I'm knocking everything over. Yeah, available from the Fuller's website. You do get it in a nice box. It's very presentable. Looks a little bit better than having an empty bottle sitting around. So you get it in a nice presentable box, which is very nice. Like I say, I'm pretty sure Waitrose will be selling it at some point. But if not, go to the Fuller's website and just buy a bottle. Just buy it. It's perfect. Absolutely glorious. Wonderful stuff as ever from Fuller's. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Until my next one, you take care.